Guten Morgen. For this course, German 1, HS 1090, Netzwerk Deutsch als Fremdsprache A1. This is the prescribed textbook. Okay, this is the prescribed textbook, and our endeavor will be in the course of the next 12 weeks that this book has 12 lessons, and our attempt shall be to finish the 12 lessons and finish this book by the end of this course, which means you should be in a position to write the standardized A1 level exam and get a certification if you so want from the Goethe Institute, which is the Max Müller Bhavan, which is the primary German teaching institution outside of Germany. So which we have a center, we have a very good center in Chennai, in Nungambakkam, and there you will be able to write an exam and get a certification if you want. Of course, it will also be, if you have created the course, it will also be added to your grade sheet. That is of course there. The textbook comes with a workbook, and for every lesson that is introduced in the textbook, there are number of exercises and different kinds of exercises which it is imperative that you do. Okay, we cannot do it in class, because in class we have to deal with the elements that are introduced in the textbook, and we deal with some vocabulary in class. But this is for your practice, and it is a 9-credit course, right? So which means that there should be minimum 9 working hours through the week. Okay, which means we have 3 hours or 3 lessons, contact hours. Right now it is 4, but basically 3, which means that you have to put in 6 hours of work at least. Okay, I think it's more, but these technical details I'm not very sure of. So please remember to work with the workbook, and of course you can bring back if there are any doubts about how to do certain exercises, or something that we have not covered pops up in some exercise, and you can bring those back to class. And as I was saying, once we get streamlined and get on course with the textbook, then we might make the Tuesday class as an optional class, where one of us will be available, either Shashirekha or I will be available for solving doubts, and those who have doubts can come, those who want to practice can come. We can make it voluntary. Okay, and but right now we are doing that class also as a class. So the red one is the textbook, the grey one is the workbook, and along with it there will be a glossary which will contain a word list, all the words in German and in English, all the expressions explained in German and English. At the back of the textbook you will find 2 audio CDs. Those are meant for the textbook lessons. At the back of the workbook also there are 2 audio CDs. Those are meant for the workbook exercises, and for every exercise and for every sub section of a lesson you will find a certain number indicated with a CD symbol, so that that particular audio file goes with that particular exercise or section. Netzwerk, as the name suggests, what does Netzwerk would mean? Network. So it is a fairly comprehensive package of what is being offered, and that is why we have stuck with it for the last 2 years. We've used several other textbooks earlier, but there is a web portal. Once you buy a Netzwerk book, every book that is bought will have near the copyright, on the copyright page, there will be a code given, which is a password for your access to the web portal. And then you can of course use all the resources available on the web portal. There is a film that goes with 12 episodes. With every lesson there is an episode of a film. Okay, it's not very long, about 5 minutes or 10 minutes of film per lesson, and all those resources will be accessible to you with a code given here, with which you log in, create your own login and access the some exercises given here and in the workbook will also have a computer symbol next to it, which means that there are resources available online in the web portal for that exercise, okay, and so on and so forth. So, all in all, it's a fairly comprehensive package, and that's why we have stuck with this book for, I think it's the third year running now that we are using this book. Okay, so please make sure that you have it tomorrow so that we can go through. As you will find, today we will actually complete the last exercise or the last element of lesson 2 from the textbook. So we have had 2 weeks of class, and by tomorrow we will have covered 2 lessons. It is you have to go back in the textbook and go through the lessons, get a hang of the vocabulary, situations, instructions. Very important to understand the instructions in a textbook and in a workbook. Okay, what is the exercise asking you to do? Okay, so several things like bitte lesen Sie, lesen Sie, read, or schreiben Sie, or ergänzen Sie. Ergänzen is a standard German word for fill in the blanks. Ergänzen Sie. So these kind of instructions are important to follow. So we'll do all that tomorrow, but make sure that the book is there. Okay. Ja, dann machen wir jetzt weiter mit unserem Formular. Ja, Formular ausfüllen. Formular ausfüllen. We have basically filled out the form for Jana Pivkova, have seen what is the information available in the text about her and put it in the correct boxes. Can you do a small exercise in, let's say, 5 minutes and write down a small thing about yourself like this: Vorname, Nachname, weiblich, männlich, Geburtsdatum, E-Mail, Telefonnummer, Wohnort, Schule, Arbeit bei. Arbeit bei, working with. If you're not working, you can just leave it blank. Yeah. Interessen, Lieblingsmusik, Lieblingsfilm. Yeah. You done with it? Yeah. Can we start reading from the last bench? Wie ist dein Name?
Mein Name ist Shivam.
Shivam. Ja. Bitte geben Sie Shivam das Mikrofon. Vorname?
Shivam.
Yeah. Read that way. Vorname Shivam, yeah.
Vorname Shivam, Nachname Mittal, weiblich, männlich, männlich,
Weiblich, männlich.
weiblich, männlich.
Yeah. A very important distinction while speaking is a combination of vowels IE and EI. Okay, and there's a very distinct difference in German. IE, like Wien. Wien ist die Hauptstadt von Österreich. Wien ist die Hauptstadt von Österreich. Is it clear what the sentence means? Yeah? Hauptstadt. Neu Delhi ist die Hauptstadt von Indien. Berlin ist die Hauptstadt von Deutschland. Wien ist die Hauptstadt von Österreich. Wien. Die, not die. Die. But Österreich, I. Weiblich, I. Eins, zwei, drei, I. Vier, I. Okay. Sieben, SIEBEN. Okay. So For example, zwei, drei, but sieben. Sieben. Okay. So, when we learn this in German, or you can say we are learning about Wien und der Wein. Wien und Wein. Wien ist die Stadt, Wein ist das, was man trinkt in Wien. Yeah? Wien und der Wein. Is clear? Wein is the German word for wine, the same pronunciation, but spelt like this. Der Wein. Wine is masculine. Okay. Wien und der Wein. So weiblich, and this you can make a note of as a standard pronunciation. This is called a diphthong. Okay, this is called a diphthong, a combination of two vowels, and there are other diphthongs in this which also it might be good to point out. You have Hauptstadt. Any other word you know with AU? Auto, Hauptstadt. Then? Auch. Ich komme auch aus Chennai. Okay, so au, always. What is the language we are learning? Wir lernen? Wie buchstabieren wir Deutsch auf Deutsch? D. Wir lernen Deutsch. D. E. U. H. Deutsch. Da haben wir noch eine Kombination. What is the sound of this? Oi. Deutsch. Deutschland ist in Europa. Yeah? Is it getting covered by this? Yeah. Deutschland is in Europa. Oi. Au. 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 EU. Oi. EI. I. And IE. E. Okay. There are other combinations, but these are four very common ones. Yes.
When you put an E at the end of Deutsch, I've seen it somewhere, I don't know.
You bring it to me. Mike. Yeah.
When do you put an E after Deutsch?
Yeah, you give me an example.
I don't know, I've just seen it in a sentence. I'm not sure why they did it.
Yeah, there are several occasions on which you can put an E. In fact, we will do this in detail later on, because it's we are not yet reached that this thing that I can. But anything on the board which is not clear? The difference that I'm trying to answer your doubt as best as I can without giving an information overload. So the difference between German cars are expensive. German cars are expensive, and we are learning German. Two sentences in which the word German has been used. What is the difference?
One is sort of an adjective.
Mike.
I don't think it's working, sir. Hello?
No. It won't come here. It'll go into the recording studio. Yeah.
Okay. What was I saying? In German cars, German is sort of an adjective, right?
Yes.
You're describing it, and when you're learning German, it's a noun.
Yes, it's what you're learning, the language. So, if you are using German Deutsch as an adjective, there are occasions on which it will have an E ending. What would these occasions be in your, yeah, if it is an adjective for a feminine noun, then it might have an ending E. Okay, for example, what is the word we have used for language? Sprache. And what is the question that we ask? Ja, welche Sprachen sprichst du or welche Sprache lernen Sie? Welche Sprache, E ending. That means Sprache is feminine. Okay, E ending means usually either it's a plural or it is feminine. So, if you were to say German, we are learning German, then of course we are using the word German as a noun, but we are learning to use the German language. If I say the German language, then I am using German as an adjective. Yeah. So wir lernen Deutsch. Ist klar? Wir lernen Deutsch. Ja? Or Deutsch ist die offizielle Sprache in Deutschland, Österreich und in der Schweiz. Okay. Is clear the use of the word Deutsch here is as a noun. Wir lernen Deutsch. Deutsch ist die offizielle Sprache in Deutschland, Österreich und in der Schweiz. If I say ich verstehen, ich verstehe die deutsche Sprache. Okay, here because I am using Deutsche as an adjective for Sprache, it would have an E ending, and if you notice, the D will become small. It doesn't happen in English. In English, whether, I mean, India, Indian, German, German, American, American mostly, or whether it's an adjective or it's a noun, it will be written with a capital letter. But in German, if it changes from a noun to an adjective, it will become, the D is small. Okay. So that kind of answers your question. I mean, it's not the end of it, by the way. Okay, you have invoked the grammar, what do you say, poltergeist of adjective endings, which is and a topic in itself in German grammar, which is not very different from Indian languages, by the way. If you go through, I mean, Marathi and Hindi, you can easily see that every adjective that I use in Marathi, for example, it will have an inflection at the end depending on the gender of the noun, the case of the noun, the number, and so on and so forth. In Hindi also. So if you, one basic example is अच्छा is an adjective, but अच्छा लड़का and अच्छी लड़की, but अच्छे बच्चे, and हमने अच्छे अच्छों की छुट्टी कर दी, kind of thing, you know, अच्छे अच्छों, and so on and so forth. So there is all these endings of adjectives. English doesn't have it at all. Okay, English, there is no inflection of the adjective at the end. If you just go through your mind whatever English sentences you can construct, but many Indian languages have those. I mean, I can speak fairly certainly for Hindi and Marathi, and but I'm sure that other languages also have those, and they will come back to haunt us in German. Okay, or for us to play with in German. So that is where what's happening here. Wie ist dein Name? Wie heißt du? Pradyumna, yeah. So that is what is happening. That Deutsch and Deutsche, there can be many other endings after the E also, but right now it is because of the difference between adjective and noun. We have to come back to Shivam. Hmm? Yeah, I was wondering how, when I wrote the sentence, I knew that that question will come at some point in time, but okay, you have to wait for a few more minutes. Yeah. Most of the countries in German, most of the countries are neuter gender. Okay. There are, however, some countries which have a gender, and since neuter is also a gender, which are either masculine or feminine. And um, the most common ones among them are, in the German context, are Switzerland and Turkey, because they are share a lot of cultural things with Switzerland and Turkey. So both are actually feminine, Die Schweiz and Die Türkei. Don't ask me why it is Der Schweiz here. That will come in the 8th week of the course. Okay. So in Der Schweiz. So the point is that when we speak of these countries or speak their names in German, they will always come with the article. Okay. And for example, if I say India, Neu Delhi is die Hauptstadt von Indien, I don't need to say von dem Indien. That the, dem or der or whatever it is, I don't need. It's neuter, it's understood. Or Berlin is die Hauptstadt von Deutschland. We don't need an article. Paris is die Hauptstadt von Frankreich. No article required. Okay. Copenhagen is die Hauptstadt von Dänemark, and so on and so forth. So we don't need any articles. But if I say Ankara ist die Hauptstadt von der Türkei, okay, again it's becoming der Türkei. But I need that die, der, das, dem, whatever it is, before Türkei. Or what is the capital of Switzerland? The capital of Switzerland? Bern. Bern is die Hauptstadt von der Schweiz. Okay, and so on and so forth. So there are countries which require an article, because actually I don't know whether you know, but even the word Punjab, for example, Punjab actually
5 rivers, right?
yeah, the land between 5 rivers. But in many old documents it is called the Punjab. Okay, it is the Punjab and not just Punjab. So now of course it's the name of a state, you can't say the Punjab, but Punjab as a geographical region is the Punjab. Okay. So similarly there are masculine countries, like the most prominent among them are Iraq, Iran, Sudan. These are in the German language, these are all der Iraq, der Sudan, der Iran. Okay. And so we always refer to them with the article. Schweiz and Türkei are die Schweiz and die Türkei, and refer to. So we will come to that a little later as to why this is der is a different question, but the point is that Österreich and Deutschland don't need an article, but Schweiz does, and so does Turkey, which is Türkei. Die Türkei, and then Iraq and Sudan. Yeah. Finally, finish the thing. Vorname, read all the. I'd like to hear everything. Yeah.
Vorname Shivam, Nachname Mittal, weiblich männlich, Geburtsdatum 22.
22.
Ja,
22.
22 Februar 1999.
Yeah. How do you say the year in English? Do we say 1999 or
1999.
1999? No. 1999.
1999.
99. Yeah.
Email.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Telephone nummer.
Telefonnummer 8 6 1
Eins.
1 9 3 3 4 8 5 7.
Okay.
Wohnort Chennai.
Yeah.
Interessen Sprachenlernen und Musik hören.
Interessen.
Sprachenlernen,
Sprachen lernen.
Sprachenlernen und Musik hören.
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 Ja. Musik hören. Lieblingsmusik.
Lieblingsmusik Latin. Latin.
What is that?
Latin.
Latin. Oh, Latin is a music.
Latin music is.
Okay. And Lieblingsfilm. Don't know. Okay. Pranav.
Vorname Pranav, Nachname Gadikar, Weiblich Männlich Männlich,
Männlich. Männlich.
Männlich,
Ha. There is a double N, no? After A umlaut, there is a double N. A double consonant. Whenever there is a double consonant, this is also a fairly universal rule of pronunciation in German. Whenever there is a double consonant, then the vowel will be shortened. Okay. So it's not männlich, but it is männlich.
Geburtsdatum
Please repeat.
Weiblich Männlich Männlich,
Yeah.
Geburtsdatum
Geburtsdatum.
6 April 1998.
Yeah.
Telefonnummer 988 496 4696. Wohnort Pune.
No, Wohnort Chennai. Wohnort Chennai. Hometown Pune. That you can say. Wohnort. You can have what would be place of birth? Place of birth. Geburtsort.
Geburtsort.
Okay, one S there. So you can have Geburtsort. Wait, I'll use the. So you have Wohnort. You can have Geburtsort. Or you can have Heimat or Heimatstadt. Heimat is home, Heimat, home, and Heimatstadt is hometown in that sense. So, Wohnort, where you are currently staying. Okay, that is very clearly, if you are asked for your Wohnort, then it has to be the place of residence. Okay. If you're asked for your place of birth, that's fine. If you ask for your Heimatstadt, that's also can be different, but the Wohnort has to be the place of residence. So,
Sir, what is the article of
der Ort, der Ort, der Ort, die Orte, der Ort, die Orte. Yeah, Wohnort Chennai.
Wohnort Chennai. Interessen Music. Interessen Musik hören und Radfahren.
Radfahren, yeah.
Lieblingsmusik Rock und Pop. Lieblingsfilm Matrix.
Matrix, okay.
Vorname Saurabh, Nachname Ladda, weiblich männlich männlich
Männlich,
männlich
männlich,
männlich
yes.
männlich, Geburtsdatum 26 April 1998. 98.
90, ja.
98. Ja, Telefonnummer neun, sechs, drei, sieben, fünf, null, fünf, vier, eins.
Yeah.
Wohnort, Chennai. Schule, New India School. And Arbeit bei
Interessen.
Fußball spielen.
Fußball spielen.
Fußball spielen. Lieblingsmusik.
Lieblingsmusik.
Lieblingsmusik, Retro. And Lieblingsfilm, Wolf of Wall Street.
Last one more and then we'll go on to the next. Yeah.
Vorname Soham, Nachname Dikshit, weiblich, männlich, Geburtsdatum 15. Oktober 1900, 98, then Telefonnummer 77 2 00 33 2 40, Wohnort Chennai, Chennai, Interessen Fußball spielen, then Lieblingsmusik Pop music, and Lieblingsfilm I don't have.
Okay, Lieblingsmusik. Kind of. Yeah. Possible to fill up a form like this or a form like this. Yeah. Here I think probably the most difficult word is Staatsangehörigkeit, but we know now what it means. Staatsangehörigkeit is, yeah. Last thing before we finish for today and we begin with the book tomorrow is Verben und Personalpronomen. Verben und Personalpronomen. What we have here is a standard conjugation table for different verbs. We've already done that before. We've already seen how to conjugate a verb, give different endings for different persons when you use a verb. So this is all put together over here with spielen as a regular verb. Ich spiele, du spielst, sie spielt, wir spielen, ihr spielt, sie spielen. Okay, so then you have arbeiten. You have verbs that end, the root of which ends with a T, then you add an extra E. Okay, ich arbeite and du arbeitest, arbeitet, and so on and so forth. This is clear? This is, again, it's kind of a go back to or revision of what has been done before. Yes?
The personal pronouns have been referred
Little louder, so that you, mic, can you pass the mic?
So the personal pronouns, they are referenced by spielen, arbeiten, which is basically the wir or sie form.
Yes.
But for seen, it is not sinned. You're calling it seen, not sinned. The top row.
Oh yeah, wait. We'll not come to that verb as yet, no? Arbeiten. Arbeiten, arbeitest and arbeitet, you have to verbs where the root ends with a T, just remember to take an extra E. Okay. Lesen. Lesen is our first irregular verb. Lesen. And I think we have mentioned that the irregularity occurs only for do and where the vowel changes. A, lesen becomes least, E. Okay. Otherwise, there is no change as such. Sein is the verb for to be, and sein in German probably is the most irregular verb, to be, but also in English. I mean, to be is the verb, and then how do you conjugate? I am. Where is be and where is am? There is no connection at all. You are, he, she, it is, we are, you are, they are. So again, to be seems to be there's some problem with human existence. To be seems to be a very irregular verb in most languages. So sein is the infinite. See, also some of the terms very quickly. When a verb exists by itself without being conjugated, it is in its infinitive form. It is not yet finite. It has not been used yet. Okay, it's in its infinitive form. So infinitive is usually ends in an N in German. Okay, infinitive in English is a verb with a to before it. To be, to run, to write. Those are infinitive forms. In German, the infinitive doesn't have a to as such, but the original unused form, full form, with an N or an EN at the end. That is the infinitive. So sein as the infinitive, and then when we use it, it's totally different. Ich bin, du bist, ist, wir sind, ihr seid, and sie sind. So the fact that wir and sie is sind and not sein is so what? That's the point. That's the point. I mean, yes, it is a very irregular verb, and that's the way it is. Haben. Haben is also actually not regular because it drops the B. Ich habe, du hast, hat. Wir haben, ihr habt. That's the irregularity here. It's not the vowel, but it's a B that is dropped. But this is an exception. Most other or all other verbs which are irregular, the change in vowel. Okay. Haben, habt, haben. Is it clear to everyone what exactly is happening? What is verb conjugation? Is it clear to everyone, or do we need to go back to it? Please say if we need to go back to it. When we use verbs in different languages, we need to change verb forms depending on who is speaking or about whom we are speaking. मैं काम करता हूँ, तुम काम करते हो, वह काम करता है, वह काम करती है, हम काम करते हैं, वे काम करते हैं, and so on and so forth. So what we are doing is काम करना, we are conjugating according to different persons. That is what is happening here. We need to know these forms in order to be able to use the verbs while speaking. Okay. So verb conjugation is something you have to practice and learn. This, of course, we have Was sind Sie von Beruf? Was bist du von Beruf? We have done yesterday. Beruf is profession. Wann arbeiten Sie? Wann arbeitest du? We have Ich arbeite am Montag or und Dienstag. Wann haben Sie frei? Ich habe am Mittwoch frei. Or ich habe am Samstag und Sonntag frei. Very simple questions. Just remember to use on Monday or on Tuesday as am Montag, am Dienstag, and wir arbeiten von Montag bis Freitag. Am Wochenende haben wir frei. Is it okay? Wir arbeiten von Montag bis Freitag. Am Wochenende haben wir frei.